সামনে যাইস না।
We're just waiting for a friend. We are waiting for 5 minutes to start again.
We thank you very much for taking out your time and coming here to the press conference of the first Indian Cotton Yarn and Fabric Show 2006 being organized by Texposil, Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council of India, in association with High Commission of India, Dhaka, Bangladesh. Firstly, I would like to introduce you the guests on the dais among the head tables. To my immediate right is Mr. D.N. Srivastava. He is the Minister Economic and Commerce of the High Commission of India in Dhaka. And to my far right is Mr. Siddharth Rajagopal. He is the Executive Director of Texposil, the Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council of India. To start off with our press conference, may I request Mr. D.N. Srivastava, Minister ANC, High Commission of India, to speak a few words on this occasion. Thank you.
Welcome you all to today's press briefing on the Yarn and Cotton Show organized by Texposil. It's going to be held here for 3 days, from 9th to 11th of this month, from tomorrow. It's the first ever show organized by Texposil in Bangladesh. The exhibition will be inaugurated tomorrow morning at 10:30 by Honorable Commerce Minister of Bangladesh, His Excellency Janab Hafizuddin Ahmad. He will be the chief guest. The High Commissioner of India, Her Excellency Mrs. Veena Sikri, will also be present on the occasion. Let me give you very briefly. I'll just take 2 minutes and then I'll pass on this mic to my friend Mr. Siddharth Rajagopal. India is the world's second largest exporter of cotton textile with annual export to the tune of $4 billion. India is third largest producer of cotton, second largest supplier of home textiles, fourth largest producer of staple fiber, and second largest producer of filament yarn. Textile and garments have been the single largest foreign exchange earner for Bangladesh. Import of yarn and fabrics from India have played a significant role in export of these finished products from Bangladesh. Bangladesh is the second largest market for Indian cotton yarn and third largest market for Indian cotton fabrics. There is a big demand of fabrics and yarn in Bangladesh for the thriving woven and knitwear garment industry, with the coming into force of SABTA from 1st of July this year. Bangladesh manufacturers and exporters would need more of these commodities. India offers quality products at competitive prices, and the exhibition would give you a glimpse of India's capabilities and capacity in the field. The Cotton Yarn and Fabric Show 2006 would showcase the latest trends and designs in the cotton textile sector. Texplocil has brought in some of the renowned manufacturers and exporters of Indian cotton textile industry. I'd request the Bangladesh textile industry to make full use of the opportunity and to work together with the Indian textile industry to face the growing challenges in the world together. I thank Texplocil for choosing Dhaka as a venue for their exhibition. And I once again welcome you all to this meeting. Thank you very much.
And come and attend this mock press meet that we have organized in Bangladesh and in India. Perhaps it has taken us so much time to organize the first cotton textile show, which is basically showcasing cotton yarns and cotton fabrics, both grey and processed fabrics being produced in India. The idea of having a show like this in Bangladesh was frankly to try and participate in the enormous growth that Bangladesh is now seeing in terms of its garment industry, both in terms of exports and also in terms of manufacturing capabilities. In fact, both India and Bangladesh, in fact, are major suppliers of garments to the world. In fact, the Bangladesh has a higher export performance in markets like European Union, and even in the US, current growths show that Bangladesh exports are higher than the exports from India of finished goods. So since finished goods would require raw materials, they would require intermediates, they would require various types of other finished articles, it was thought that it would be a very good idea to try and participate in the progress that the Bangladeshi garment industry and knitwear sector is being making in its exports and in its manufacturing capabilities. So here we are today. As Mr. Srivastava pointed out, we are going to be here till the 11th of July. We have got about 19 participants, and all of them are very good names in their own field. Their products command premiums in the world market, and they are coming here to try and meet with the manufacturers of garments and knitwear in Bangladesh. It is not as if they don't have business dealings already with people in Bangladesh. They already have dealings. They would like to renew those contacts. They would like to make new contacts. They would like to show some of the new products. They would like to really understand how the Bangladeshi manufacturers are adjusting to the growing demand of the market. What are the new product lines they are trying to think of? So the whole idea here is to try and have a sort of a linkage between the upstream industry in India, which is in yarns and fabrics, and where India has some strengths, historically it has those strengths, and the downstream capabilities and amazing progress made by the Bangladeshi industry, because some of the factories which are there in Bangladesh, they compare with the best in the world. So that is the idea of our presence here today. This is the first time that we've been able to get the cotton side here. The other segments have been here. man-made fiber and others. So idea was to try and kind of progress that India has made and the kind of goods also it can offer. What I'd like to do here is we have made a small presentation. A copy of the presentation is in the kit that has been given to you, which is in the form of a small CD. We've also run through a small presentation here for your benefit, so that you get an idea of what the Indian industry is doing, what my organization Texposil is all about, how we look at how India and Bangladesh are progressing in the world markets, what kind of performances they have been showing so far, and what areas of cooperation can be thought of, where we could all build together with the common objective of trying to build trade relations between our two countries. That is the objective of our visit, and we really would like to present this across as some kind of a joint effort that we are making on our part. I once again thank all of you for being here, and we will take questions after the presentation is over. Thank you. Synopsis of what the presentation is going to be. We'll give you a snapshot of the Indian textile industry. Some indications were given by Mr. Srivastava in his small introductory remarks. We will try to talk of Texposil, its mission and vision. We have the India and Bangladesh in global textile and apparel trade. It makes very interesting reading because Bangladesh is an equally strong player in world markets. So it's not as if it has a presence, and the world recognizes that, even India recognizes that. India's cotton textile snapshot. Now, India's position in the world textile economy. The Indian textile industry is amongst the oldest industries in India and also in South Asia, and therefore it has a historical background. We are the third largest producer of raw cotton. It is the second largest producer of cellulose fiber yarns, the second largest producer of cotton yarn, largest producer of jute, second largest producer of silk, and the fifth largest producer of synthetic fiber and yarn. Because of the historicity of the Indian textile industry, some of these milestones have been achieved. Next. The textile industry, like the Bangladeshi garment industry plays in the Bangladeshi economy, the textile industry in India also plays a very important role in the Indian economy. It contributes about 4% of GDP, it's 16% of total exports. Invested capital, it amounts to about 12% of the invested capital is accounted by the textile sector. Gross output in the economy, 13% comes from the textile industry. Number of factories which have been set up in India across the Indian economy, approximately 13% of those factories are in the textile industry. Employment, it provides about 21% of the employable, and it's the second largest employment provider after agriculture. So therefore, the textile industry is an extremely important sector of the Indian economy. Now, an important point which needs to be noted here, we talk of export, we also give you an idea of the market size of the Indian textile and clothing industry. The Indian textile and clothing industry, both the domestic and the exports market, because the Indian market is also now becoming a major importer, apart from being an exporter. $46 billion is the estimated size of the Indian market. Out of it, $16 billion comprises the exports, which is 35%, and almost 65%, which is 30 billion, is the domestic market. So therefore, in the exports, you will see textiles contribute about 7.8 billion, clothing about 8.2, out of which, as Mr. Srivastava pointed out, cotton textiles is about 4 billion. Now, what is of importance here in the presentation is the domestic size, where with the bilateral trade growing between the two countries, the Bangladesh to the Indian market, as it will be developed through the bilateral agreement.
Excuse me, is it the Bangladesh market size?
No, this is the Indian market, Indian market.
But what is the Bangladesh market size? How much money you are earning from Bangladesh
By importing that, of course, in terms of import, various commodities, I mean, we are not importing much of textiles, but other items are being imported. That we will give you as we go along. There is a slide here. Features of the domestic market I gave you, it's a 30 billion, current growth rate is 15% of the Indian market. Apparel constitutes 2/3 of that market, which is about $20 billion. Share of branded products increased from 21 to 24%. Indian market is also improved, reach a size of $85 billion by 2010 from 46 billion. Export target of 40 billion from the current level of $17 billion. Raise the market share in 3.4% that we have in world market to about 6%. Create an additional 12 million jobs in India. Increase per capita consumption from 19 meters to about 32 meters, and attract investment of $32 billion worth for modernization and capacity building. Next. And this is how the scenario for 2010 is expected to look. The 46 billion will look at 85 billion, exports will be 40 billion, domestic size will be 45 billion, apparel, automobiles will be 32 billion, and textiles will be 13, and the export is 24, apparel and 16 billion. So therefore, there is a growth envisaged in the domestic market, and there is a huge growth envisaged in the clothing and the apparel sector and in the finished articles. So all that is not getting manufactured in India, but all that will come out from the imports from the neighboring countries and other parts of the world like China and other places. Next. The Texpostal was the first export promotion council set up in India in 1954. We celebrated our golden jubilee in the year 2004. It's the first initiative in public-private partnership because the government and the industry are work together and try and achieve the goals and objectives which they have set for themselves. We have about 5,000 members who are manufacturers and trading houses who specialize in cotton textiles, which is essentially cotton yarn, cotton fabrics and home furnishing articles that are made up in curtains and things like that. And we are a catalyst between Indian exporters and overseas importers. Our job is to try and provide linkage between Indian exporters and those in the overseas markets. Bangladesh is here, we have Sri Lanka, we have in Japan, we have various markets to try and explore and put our exporters in touch with. Is to promote exports of yarn, fabrics and made-ups. Our current objective is to work towards achieving a market share of 6% for the Indian textile and clothing industry by the year 2010. That's an objective towards which we are working. Next. We organize, as I already said, buyer-seller meets and participation in international trade fairs. Most of the world, the leading trade fairs, our organization is there. We try and promote our exporters. We publish a lot of promotional literature on the markets and products of interest to our members. A lot of literature is put out. We service trade inquiries, those who have inquiries to make. We have been actively representing India in the WTO negotiations, both and other forums internationally. And we have been seeking strategic partnerships with industry and trade represented overseas markets. We've signed an MOU with the China National Textile and Apparel Council, which is the Chinese Ministry of Textiles, for mutual cooperation. And only 15 days ago, we signed an agreement with the Republic of Kazakhstan, the CIS area, to try and promote bilateral trade between our two countries in cotton textiles. Next. Next. This is an interesting slide which we put together for all of us here. Because not only we look at the bilateral side of it, but we must look both India and Bangladesh in the world markets, how they look. And therefore this was put out, and this gives you a brief idea of what is happening. India textile and clothing trade, as you would see, we account for about 3.4% of world market. Bangladesh accounts for about 1% of the world market. Our growth between 2000 and 2005 has been about 6.9% on a CAGR. Bangladesh has been growing during this period by about 6%, about 20%. Bangladesh is also garnering huge growth. But if you compare, of course this is a total slide of textile and clothing, but if you look only at clothing, then you will see the figures of Bangladesh are higher than the figures for India, which we will show a little later. Next. Growth in apparel exports. Yeah, you see this. In January, EU, Bangladesh and India virtually recorded. Bangladesh recorded a growth of 27% and from a higher base, whereas India recorded a growth of 52% from a slightly lower base. So the growth rates per se and the overall market grew by 12%, China increased by 27%. US is an interesting example. The imports into US declined by 2%, 1.6%. China's exports declined, but India grew by 21% and Bangladesh also grew by the same number. So therefore there you are for apparel exports in the US market and in the EU market, Bangladesh growth is equally high. Next. Now Bangladesh foreign trade in textile and clothing, according to the information that we have, Bangladesh imports about $2.7 billion of textiles and clothing and exports about 7 billion that we show. So therefore imports are slightly lower than the export. Next. And major suppliers of textiles and clothing into Bangladesh in terms of imports, you'll find that China has got a 46% share in the imports into Bangladesh. India has got a share of 10%. So India is the second largest supplier of textile and clothing into Bangladesh, whereas the largest is now China And that's the story everywhere. China everywhere is emerging as the largest, therefore, which is about $2 billion. And therefore, what we are seeing is more and more finished articles are also being exported out of India. So India was earlier a manufacturer of raw materials and intermediate products, but slowly is trying to close the gap and trying to emerge as an exporter of finished articles. And we are number 2 in cotton textile exports after China. Next. Next. Now, this is the Bangladesh will be coming in. So therefore, steadily, the trade gap will be narrowed, and India is supplying about 15% of the total. The point that needs to be, this point comes up every time. You see, in textiles and clothing, as we see it, it's a comparatively younger industry in Bangladesh compared to India. But given the fact that the industry is now really galvanizing itself into action, we will see that more and more of finished articles. Thanks to Bangladesh, I mean, that is where we are. Why we are here? Because as you will see in this slide, the yarns are a major export from India to Bangladesh. There has been a consistent increase in that. Bangladesh needs the yarn to make fabrics and to make the garments. Bangladesh needs the fabrics to make the garments and the knitwear and finish the goods and then send them out for exports to the world markets. So therefore there is a synergy which has been developed between the producers of raw material in India and the producers of finished goods. But fabric exports are somehow declining, and as we see, is probably being and this is what we are looking at, and this is what has been our aim. Promote intra-regional trade, that is an idea. This the SAFTA has come into force, and the objective is to be realized. We would like to see more bilateral trade in textile and clothing sector in both the countries. It's not only India importing to Bangladesh, but Bangladesh also and more from both sides, so that there can be free trade. Promote joint ventures in the textile sector in both the countries. India, given its strength in spinning and weaving, and now trying to gain some strength in processing, and Bangladesh with its outstanding performance in the garmenting and the knitwear sector should try and see whether they can have found joint ventures where they get to markets, and a sort of a model that needs to be developed. And exchange more and more trade information on the textile and clothing sector. The idea is that information is today key to success, and all of us know. More information and the more strategies can be devised. So our objective is to try and have an information free flow where we could share whatever we have with our counterparts here, and they could try and provide us as much information as they have on the state of their industry, and we can find ways and means of trying to see how best to collaborate. So these, ladies and gentlemen, was a small presentation to give you a flavor of and a perspective on what we planned with our visit, what we hope to achieve. An idea is to try and get across the
press conference. We are all gathered here today for the press conference of the first Indian Cotton Yarn and Fabric Show 2006. The exhibition will be held from tomorrow, that is the 9th of July, until the 11th of July. The exhibition will be open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day during the expo period. Tomorrow, included in the press kit, you also have got the invitation for the inauguration ceremony for tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Honorable Mr. Hafizuddin Ahmed, being the Minister of Parliament, Member of Parliament. He is the chief guest for tomorrow's inauguration ceremony. Also present will be Her Excellency Ms. Meena Sikri, High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh. So we have just finished up with the press conference. If you've got any questions to ask the guests, to repeat to my immediate right, we have on the head table Mr. D.N. Srivastav, Minister Economic and Commerce of the High Commission of India, Dhaka. And to my far right, we have Mr. Siddhartha Rajagopal, Executive Director of Texprosil, the Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council of India. Any questions?
Mr. Rajagopal, clothing sector is relatively higher than that of Bangladesh. What is the cause of this?
So I think the garment and textile sector have been there for the last 35 or 40 years. So therefore, that one reason for the increase is the higher base. Second, of course, would be the access to raw material, skilled labor. We have those advantages. We also have a fairly strong managerial cadre. There is a very strong textile technology background. So there are institutes which train people. So there is a fair amount of awareness. And now what is happening, greater modernization is taking place. You must know that the Indian textile industry was amongst the oldest industries. And it's only the spinning which came in the late 80s. which was the yarn industry, which became very modern. The weaving, which continued to be historically old and was in the power loom sector, the mills had their own issues and problems. It was a 150-year-old industry that slumped. There was not much of modernization. The processing which is required to process the grey fabric was also not highly developed. But the garmenting developed primarily because of the fact that it was purely entrepreneurial and also aided to some extent by the quotas, because when the quotas were put in place. So as you would see, some sectors did develop. So entrepreneurial abilities came to the fore in the garment industry. And therefore, a lot of design and a lot of, what shall I say, creativity went into it. So these are some of the factors which could perhaps have explained. But I would like to put it across to you that it's in relative terms. If you look at the first top 10 suppliers in the world, I mean, of course, there's no point looking at the first. If you look at China, China has almost 23% of the world market. 23%. If you look at the in terms of its share, and China is huge everywhere. But there's no point looking at one or two suppliers. Over a period of time, many suppliers have developed, and therefore Bangladesh. If you see the figures of imports into European Union from Bangladesh in the year 2005 compared to 2004, Bangladesh imports were $4.3 billion, whereas imports from India of apparel was $4 billion. So imports into European Union were from Bangladesh of clothing were higher than India. So therefore, the point I'm trying to make to you is that historically there have been some advantages which has been there for India.
Thanks to the GST than India.
It will not. I would say.
And Bangladesh is going to lose its market while India is gaining it.
You see, we are talking of 2006. That is only 4 months from now. We are not talking of historical figures. We have current play. In the current play, state of play, both India and Bangladesh are growing by 21% in terms of growth rate. That's number one. In European Union, also, as we showed, the import, and as you pointed out just now, that there is this, there is an advantage. Fair enough. But the fact of the matter is that that advantage is attracting investments. That advantage is being turned into business. So therefore, as we see it, it's not India vis-a-vis Bangladesh, but now we are looking at the region. In fact, one of the reasons why we are here is that the region as a whole, the South Asian region, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, they have advantage. Sri Lanka, they have very strong advantages. Sri Lanka and Bangladesh have shown about the advantage they have in the garmenting industry. India and Pakistan have got advantage in the textile sector. They have very strong textile base, yarns, fabrics. So there is a synergy which should be developed in our view, which we should work towards. And that's why we put here the first goal of ours was to seek intra-regional cooperation. Because you can beat, just as the West tried to beat Asia by putting quotas on all of them, the Asia now should try and see that it gets a fair share of the market, but trying to come together on a common platform. But you see, comparative advantage is a concept in trade theory. So wherever there will be comparative advantage, trade will go there. So India had comparative advantage in certain aspects. Bangladesh has certain comparative advantages which just nobody can take away. Pakistan has, Sri Lanka has. All of them have a place in the sun, as we see.
You are trying to encourage it. Do you think that Bangladesh can cut the benefits of SAFTA if the non-tariff barriers are removed by India? Some non-tariff barriers also imposed in Bangladesh, such as Bangladesh is discouraging import of fabrics in land route. These are not so mentionable, but India has so many non-tariff barriers. What is your opinion? Can Bangladesh start the benefits of SAFTA or other regional agreements or bilateral agreements if the non-tariff barriers are not removed?
We are talking about the overall
Overall.
overall trade. You know, I just attended a meeting of the Indo-Bangladesh Joint Working Group on Trade meeting was held in Agartala on 5th and 6th of this month. We did discuss about these things. As regards non-tariff barriers, I didn't find many such things being raised by Bangladesh side there at the meeting. One big thing which may happen very soon is about the certification issue that we wanted to be resolved as early as possible. We have requested the government of Bangladesh to provide us with a list of laboratories which are internationally accredited and which they want us to authorize for issue of certificates. So waiting for the response from the government of Bangladesh. I think that's the one, as in, so far as textile sector is concerned. If the government proposes, your government proposes some laboratory, which our only condition is that it should be internationally accredited. That's it. So then after that, I think insofar as textile and garment sector is concerned, there's nothing left, no other barrier I can think of. Unless you quote some of them for this sector, I'm not aware.
Yeah, but you can, you know that the one that has been checked, that Bangladesh is flooding Indian market through down. And after Bangladesh filed the case and won. And we still don't know the...
No, Bangladesh into that, but that's an old case. I think you're talking about 2003, 2004, that time.
The case is over is last two. And it's still...
It's 2004, but you know, every country has a right to, if you find that things are being done. See, you and me, I'm sitting here in the room, we only know whatever we are told. But the people there who actually work, all the recourses of the laws are available to everyone. The Indian importers can also take recourse to those laws. So now that anti-dumping thing, it was at that time, to the best of my knowledge, it was that things were being sent to India from some third country also. So now you can't say anything on that, I can't say much on that.
No, so far Bangladesh also, just an example, that Indian allegation proved wrong.
Which one?
Regarding going Afro's battery. And
just let me ask you. See, if you are putting as an example, I don't know, because I was not here at that time, I have to look into the whole thing and then only I can respond to you. But that's a thing which was there, it was over. And it was over amicably, let me tell you. Not that you went and won somewhere, it's not the case. That's also not correct. Okay.
Have any government share 51, 49% or like this? What is your organizational order?
I think I leave that to Mr. Rajgopal to tell you.
Going to be foiled, or is it like Bangladesh EPP?
Yeah. What is the government share?
No, it is like, this is a autonomous body set up by the government, which is Section 25 company as we call it, basically consisting of mill owners and merchant exporters. We have got about 23 members of the board. The chairman is expected here. The chairman is a member of the trade, and we have 3 office bearers. The government is represented by on the board. So we have the man who is in charge of Textile Ministry, Joint Secretary in Delhi. He is a member. The Textile Commissioner is a member. So we have the members on the board. So they work along with the council and NIMS programs. So they are the budget. We are an autonomous in the sense budgetary support we don't take. We raise our own resources. Government helps us by organizing some event, market related development activity, but that's only a part that only goes to the exporters. Otherwise, it's an autonomous body. The government sets the policy. The government has the right to, of course, guide the organization at any point of time on any matter.
Thank you, sir. Just as workers and experts working in Bangladesh, and do you know the figure in the textile sector?
Frankly, I don't know the number.
Actually, the number we are working with various sources. It is around 2 lakhs Indian workers and experts working in the textile sector. And other than the textile sector, there is probably 3 to 4 lakhs people from India working in Bangladesh.
I think I'll have to get a figure from those organizations in the High Commission of India, but normally people don't do that. So we cannot give you any correct estimate of how many people are there. I think we have to depend on the figure provided by the government of Bangladesh. We'll ask them to give us a figure.
Small arrangement for the snacks and refreshments. So right.
कलकत्ता में जाना है
राजू वगैरह से तो
हाँ राजू से नहीं नहीं आप लोग वहाँ पे मिलना
हम मिले हुए हैं मीटिंग ऑल्सो पीडी ऑल्सो एवरीबॉडी लेकिन राजू की शेड्यूल
Yes, after the parliament session.
How long will the parliament? My stand handle দিতে পারবো না
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. Welcome to the annual ceremony of the first Indian Cotton Yarn and Fabric Show 2006, organized by Texprocil, the Cotton Textile Export Promotion Council of India, in association with High Commission of India, Dhaka. First of all,
Mr. Siddharth Rajagopal, Executive Director at Texprocil, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a matter of great honor and privilege for me to welcome Honorable Minister of Commerce, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, His Excellency Janab Hafizuddin Ahmad Veer Vikram FP, Her Excellency Mrs. Veena Sikri, High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, Mr. B.K. Patodia, Chairman Texprocil, Mr. Siddharth Rajagopal, Executive Director Texprocil, and you all distinguished guests at the inaugural ceremony of the Indian Cotton Yarn and Fabric Show 2006. Organized by the Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council of India, popularly known as Texprocil. The exhibition is taking place here at the Winter Garden of this hotel from today until 11th July. This is the first ever textile show organized by Texprocil in Bangladesh. Texprocil was established in 1954, and I find it very difficult to understand why it took them 52 years to hold their first show in Bangladesh. Both India and Bangladesh are big players in that India is slightly ahead of Bangladesh in export of textiles. India has been a major supplier of yarn and fabric to Bangladesh. Bangladesh is second largest market for Indian cotton yarn and third largest market for Indian cotton fabrics. But this is the first ever textile show in Dhaka organized by Texprocil. There have been some other steps agreed to recently between India and Bangladesh, which should also have occurred much earlier. You may wonder as to why it took so long to take these small steps. At the third meeting of the India-Bangladesh Joint Group of Customs Officials held in May in Dhaka, the two sides for the first time agreed to hold monthly meetings at the field level officers of customs officials for each corresponding land customs stations. And they also agreed that the meeting at the commissioner level will take once in 6 months. We did not even have synchronized timing for operation of our land customs stations. It was agreed to at the third meeting of the joint group of custom officials. So now land custom stations between India and Bangladesh would be open for 6 days a week, excepting Fridays, 5th and 6th of this month in Agartala. It's the first time that the meeting was held in a northeast Indian state. Ever since my arrival in Dhaka a year ago, there have been several seminars and talks on improving trade between Bangladesh and northeast Indian states, which you call as Seven Sisters. People here can lecture you a lot on this pet subject, but when it comes to action, there is no very little implementation. I asked a senior officer in the Commerce Ministry recently. I said, we all talk about increase in trade between Bangladesh and Northeast Indian states, but have you ever seen Northeast India? The answer obviously was in negative. I promise that I will try to get the next meeting held in Northeast India, and that's how the two teams met in Agartala earlier this last week. At the Joint Working Group on Trade meeting, the two sides agreed to review the functioning of all the existing land customs stations to jointly determine the necessity of such a large number of land customs stations and identify redeployment and opening of new land customs stations. The Bangladesh delegation now cite by themselves the poor condition of the road from Brahmanbaria to Akhawra, which is a road mainly used for trade between Bangladesh and Tripura. Tripura is a state in India with which Bangladesh has tremendous trade surplus. Last financial year, export from Bangladesh to Tripura state was to the tune of 30 crores of Indian rupees, and import from that state was only 60 lakhs. At the meeting in Tripura, trade representatives from Indian states neighboring Bangladesh made presentations. All of them depicted the necessity of developing infrastructure at land customs stations, opening of new land customs stations, opening up more trade routes, having better rail and river connectivity, implementing the provisions in existing inland water transit and trade protocol, and having new provisions wherever required. There is a lot of demand of Bangladeshi goods in Northeast India. We would like to encourage increased trade between Bangladesh and Northeast India. But how do we do that? We need to transport goods. So we have to make more openings. We have to make more opening of new routes, new land customs stations. We have to think of further developing the existing infrastructure and implementing already existing provisions in agreements and protocols between our two countries. In this context, one thing that I would like to say here is a comprehensive motor vehicle agreement, if not a wider multimodal transport agreement between India and Bangladesh, is the need of hour. It is needed for faster, safer and economic movement of goods between our two countries. and for reducing congestion at the Petrapur-Benapur land customs. The government of Bangladesh had earlier this year permitted import of yarn through Petrapur land customs station for only export-oriented units. Lifting the ban completely would benefit the textile and garment industries of both India and Bangladesh. The Expo sale has brought in at the Indian Cotton Yarn and Fabric Show 2006 some of the renowned manufacturers and exporters from Indian cotton textile industry. I am hopeful that the Bangladesh textile industry would make full use of the opportunity and the two textile industries would work together to face growing challenges of the textile world. Thank you very much.
Todia to deliver his speech.
Excellency Mrs. Veena Sikri, High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, Mr. Srivastava, Minister of Economic and Commercial, High Commissioner of India, Dhaka, Mr. Tipu Munshi, President BGMEA, Mr. Fazlul Haq, President BKMA, Mr. M.A. Awad, Chairman BTMA, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be here today at the inauguration ceremony of the first cotton yarn and fabric show being organized by our council in collaboration with the High Commission of India, Bangladesh. I am extremely grateful to you, to the Honorable Commerce Minister of Bangladesh, for having taken enough time from his busy schedule to be a chief guest at the inaugural ceremony of Textile Show. The presence of Honorable Minister at today's inaugural function is a manifestation of the deep-rooted commitment of geographical proximity, ethnic affinity, cultural and linguistic bonding. Given the fact that Bangladesh is a relatively younger country, the balance of trade has been in favor of India. India has also been consistently a major source of import for Bangladesh. However, during the period July to December 2005, China replaced India as #1 import source, while Bangladesh imported goods worth 1.04 billion from China during this period. Imports from India were valued at $825 million. While the balance of trade has been in favor of India so far, we are happy to note that the exports from Bangladesh to India have shown a sharp increase from 89.27 million in 2003-04 to $144 million in the year 2004-05, thereby narrowing the trade gap. The trend augurs well for the development of trade between our two countries in the coming years. Bangladesh has been an important market for manufacture of cotton yarn and fabric from India. Bangladesh imported 2.70 billion worth of textile goods in the year 2004-05. India is the second largest supplier of this product with a market share of 10.68%. Needless to say, China has a dominant share, accounting for 46% of the total imports of textile and clothing into Bangladesh. It is also a matter of great satisfaction to note that both India and Bangladesh have increased their exports of textile and clothing to both US and the European Union market after abolition of quotas. For instance, while India's export of textile and clothing to US increased by 19.31% during January to April 2006, from Bangladesh it increased by almost 24.6%. Similarly, in the case of European Union, import of clothing from Bangladesh were valued at 4.3 billion in the year 2005 and were actually higher than from India, which was valued at $4 billion. Similarly, during the year 2006, the import of garments from Bangladesh and India continued to record a positive growth rate of over 20%. It is quite evident that Bangladesh has carved out a niche for itself in the world apparel market and continues to grow from strength to strength. India has enormous advantage in upstream segment of textile economy, particularly spinning, and now fervently improving its weaving and processing capacities. Towards this end, both the countries have realized the vast potential for developing bilateral trade and have set up specialized task forces to promote trade and investment between the two countries. We in the Council